Just about ready to start, everybody. This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the New Media Production Studio. Lead stories tonight are Norton, the new crypto miner. Google accuses Apple of peer pressure. Tesla has a new chill and assertive mode. And the International Space Station looks to be extended until 2030. I want to welcome you to episode 1578, the first episode of 2022 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, January 10th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners of the show. Thanks for being here. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. Check out all the great content on the website, along with getting subscribed or followed to the podcast. You can sign up for the newsletter while you're there as well. You can always join our chat room as well at geeknews.chat or our Discord channel, which will be linked in the show notes immediately following the show. You can always, again, contact me very easily via email, geeknews@gmail.com, or follow me on Twitter at geeknews. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook as well, just by searching for my name, Todd Cochran, and adding me as a friend. All the partner shows are linked at geeknewscentral.com. That includes the New Media Show, The Gadget Professor, GNC Live, Podcast Legends, GNC Week in Review, and, of course, the Pro Gear Guru website where you can get all the information on Pro Gear. Of course, this studio is designed by our friends at audimute.com, audimute.com. Definitely check that out. Of course, this show is sponsored by the longest-running continuous sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy.com. We want you to make sure you save lots of money at GoDaddy by going over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And when you're on the website, you're going to find all the deals. You're going to find a 30% off new product purchase. You're going to find a $4.99.com for newer transfer for new customers only. You're going to find $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, or $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. Again, two great deals: $1.99 a month for economy hosting for the first year, $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting first year. Both those deals include a free domain, of course, a free trial of GoDaddy Website Builder. Your choice of personal business plus plans are available as well on the website. Definitely check all those deals out. We want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. And make sure that you save money and get yourself a pandemic-proof new business, new website, new whatever it may be that you want to do online, and get it with your good friends at GoDaddy. geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And for all those of you, Happy New Year. Of course, it's a few days into the new year, but Happy New Year to all of you. And I want to thank everyone that did join me during our CES coverage. I'll talk a little bit about that here in just a second, but just kind of give you a rundown of what happened since we were last with you on the 27th of December. Obviously, New Year's Eve, all those festivities. And then on January 1st, because we're expecting bad weather in Michigan, I left in the afternoon, went to Detroit, stayed in a hotel in Detroit, and yeah, the weather did get horrible. So I'm glad I was there, but I really didn't need to get there that early because about 9 o'clock at night, my 6 a.m. flight in the morning to Las Vegas was canceled. Well, actually, Detroit to Chicago, Chicago to Las Vegas. And they immediately rebooked me through Washington. So I flew to Dulles a few hours later, got into Vegas, I think 2.5, 3 hours later than I was supposed to, which is fine. I got there Sunday. We really didn't have lots of activity starting until Monday. So I was able to get checked into the hotel, got down on Fremont Street, really, but I was pretty exhausted. So the first night was kind of I guess for better words, I was in bed early, in Vegas of all places. But Vegas is running at about 80% right now. No buffets, any place I found. Any place I normally go for buffets, the buffets were closed. About 20% of the restaurants are closed in the casinos. Most of the businesses outside the casinos were running. Now, what was interesting on Fremont Street is a lot of the small businesses that failed were replaced by marijuana dispensaries. There's like 3 or 4 of them right on Fremont Street, which I thought was pretty amazing in itself. Of course, in Nevada, they've got the same situation as they do here in Michigan with medical or what is the other category of marijuana use, and so yeah, it's just the way the way it was. So Monday, Kirk, myself, and Chris, and Chris's assistant all got into the what is not used to be Sands, but is now Venetian. We got to our broadcast location, the Venetian, and got them. Well, I didn't set up much. I did a lot of work on Monday, just regular work, while Chris and the team was setting stuff up. I was getting the live blog ready and some other things. And then Tuesday, we kind of finalized all the different settings and got the gear all ready for our Wednesday, Thursday, Friday live content. And it was kind of interesting the way the team did it this year. Scott Ertz of Plug Hits Live, he was with his team remaining in Florida. And what we did is we StreamYard's a streaming package, a software package that you can use for streaming. We StreamYard as a guest into his platform, and then we did our live switching on our side, and then they could do lower thirds and all the things that went along with a regular live broadcast on their end without us having to do any of that. What was really cool was Marlo Anderson from National Day and the Tech Ranch was there. And the first day we just did in the main studio. But we found out that there was a stage going to be available about 200, 300 feet from where our broadcast pavilion was. And Marlo set up there with a single camera shot. And basically what we did is we had a 3-way going. So if things got slow on day 2 for me, Marlo was there ready to kind of fill. He'd have a quick tip or he'd have a guest. So we ping-pong back and forth quite a bit that first morning. I did 4 hours each day live, just about wrecked me. That's a lot to do live. And ultimately, the way it ended up happening was that second day of content was just, we knocked it out of the ballpark in a big way. And we kind of came to the realization that potentially a follow-on year, if we had a third or even fourth team that could be in a different hall or in a different location, we can very easily now do remotes, whereas we couldn't before. It really worked out, and we could have someone, doesn't even have to be Scott in his location. We could have someone in any location, really someone with good bandwidth, that could switch for us during the switch between guests. And they had back channel communications going. It was awesome. It's still the same situation with some guests showing up on time, some showing up on order, a little chaos there like usual. That's what happens when you're dealing with the time warp continuum going on in Vegas. It's just, you don't know how long it gets to point A to point B. So overall, pretty impressed with how we did all 3 days of the show, considering everything that was going on. Show is obviously much, much smaller than even I expected. They said about 40,000 attendees, including exhibitors. So probably 10,000 people banning booths and 30,000 people at the show. Add another 400-500 media people, if that many. There's only 25 broadcast groups, and there's normally 100. So we were one of the 25. But mask everywhere, except for outside or when you were sitting down. So that got a little old, to be honest with you, to be in a mask 12 or 15 hours a day because, what you just wasn't at the show, was Vegas in general. But, the flights were nuts coming and going. I got rerouted on the way back as well. A little craziness going there. But, I got in last night about 10. Short sleep last night, right back here in the office this morning. Very full day of just trying to catch up. But I did produce some walkthrough videos that are on YouTube. If those of you, and I just took a GoPro, I walked through each of the halls, did quick run-throughs. So those are available on YouTube for you to watch. It's just, again, a quick walking tour of each kind of shows you. And usually there's no place to sit down, but there was many places to sit down, and where they filled the hall. Got into West Hall, got to see that for the first time. That's an amazing building. Laid out a little differently than what I had originally envisioned, but it's going to make for a great venue down the road when they decide to, or when all these companies come back. So that was, pretty much the week. It was a fast 7 days. I'm going to be honest with you. I was really ready to leave. The days of going 9 and 10 days like I used to, that's done. It really, really is. I just have such a low tolerance now for the casinos. Where I stay at the Plaza. The Plaza is a little older property. The rooms have been revamped even again. I was in a newer room. I will say that it's the most calm far as ear assault, but I was in the MGM, I was in a variety of different casinos, and just the music is over the top. It's a little too much, and I'm going to be kind of frank, Vegas has gotten even more expensive. There was very, very few meals, even just an average meal, that would cost you like $10 or $12 anywhere outside of the Strip or downtown, which could have been as high as 30. So I don't think I had a meal less than $30, including breakfast was, maybe in the high 20s. So, of course, when you get down the Strip, it's like a min of like $50 a head. So that's kind of, Vegas is not, they're charging a lot more now. The prices have went up. Room prices may be a little bit down, but everything else is, and liquor costs, if you buy a drink at a bar, it's like $14 for a mixed drink, $11 for a beer. So that's if you're not gambling. So that gives you kind of an indication of where it's at. But overall, I'm excited about 23 in the aspect that maybe, if budget allows, or if we find some additional volunteers to come. So I'm going to kind of put the word out now, early. I'll probably be looking for a couple of folks that want to come and hang in Vegas next year in 23. You put your name in the hat now, because I think if we get everything done the way we want, we're going to change the format completely for next year. The on the floor, random takes, grabbing people out of booths, bring them to a spot, I think is much, much better. And we've got some good ideas. As a matter of fact, some opportunities pop up that might involve me being able to go on some cool trips this year, tech related. So we'll see. Okay, that gives you the rundown of what happened in Vegas. I'm glad to be back here in the studio. Got a great show lined up for you today. Be honest with you, I'm running on spare energy. It's been a Red Bull night. Few days here to recover. But it's not like the old, I'm going to tell you, I used to have a little more downtime at the end just to kind of decompress. But I actually got one day because the show ended on Saturday. I was originally going to do the show on Saturday and come home on Sunday. So I did get Saturday kind of off to just kind of screw off, which was nice. But, I slept until noon on that Saturday. So, it really was the way it was. All right, let's talk about the stuff in the stack. And the first thing up, I heard about this and I couldn't believe it. And I wanted to cover it because it's just so outrageous. I use Norton products on both my Mac and my PCs. I have quite a bit invested in licenses in Norton. And I'm going to be investigating this very, very, very closely to make sure none of this is happening on my computers. But now, Norton 360 now comes with a crypto miner. And whatever possessed these idiots to put a crypto miner in the Norton product is absolutely blowing me away. Over on Krebs on security, they say Norton 360, one of the most popular antivirus products on the market today, has installed a cryptocurrency mining program on its customers' computers. Norton's parent firm says the cloud-based service that activates the program and allows customers to profit from the scheme, in which the company keeps 15% of any currency mined, is opt-in, meaning users have to agree to enable it, but many Norton users complain the mining program is difficult to remove, and reactions from longtime customers range from unease to disbelief. And I agree. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Why would you do this? Greed. Greed is why. According to a fact posted on its site, Norton Crypto will mine Ethereum cryptocurrency while the customer computer is idle. The FAQ also says Norton Crypto will only run in systems that meet certain hardware and software requirements, such as an NVIDIA graphics card with at least 6 gigs of memory. Norton creates a secure digital Ethereum wallet for each user. The key to the wallet is encrypted and stored entirely secure in the cloud, quote unquote. Only you have access to the wallet. Apparently, they began offering this in July of 21. And early news coverage of the program did not immediately receive widespread attention. That changed on January 4th when Boing Boing co-editor Cory Doctorow tweeted that Norton Crypto would run by default for Norton 360. He says, this is beeping wild. Norton Antivirus now sneakily installs crypto mining software on your computer and then skims a commission. If users have turned on Norton Crypto but no longer wish to use it first, it can be disabled by temporarily shutting off tamper protection, which allows users to modify the Norton installation and deleting encrypt.exe from your computer. Norton LifeLock said in a written statement, however, many users report difficulty removing the mining program. How on earth could anyone at Norton think that adding crypto mining with a security product would be a good thing? Norton should be detecting and killing off crypto mining hijacking, not installing their own, the post reads. The product people need firing. What's the next bright idea? Norton botnet? And I was just about to reinstall Norton 362, but this alert caused me to no longer trust Norton and their direction. This is crazy. Norton is pretty much amplifying energy consumption worldwide, costing customers more electricity use than the customer makes on the mining, yet allowing Norton to make a ton of profit, tweeted security researcher Chris Vickery. It's disgusting, gross, and brand suicide. So it's true. I've got a dozen machines here. And obviously I haven't opted in, but think of the extra power that these things would suck up. I'm just blown away that they've got this. Now, I haven't seen this on my Mac machines. I'm going to be looking on my Windows machines. But if they're gracking scraping 15% and I'm paying an electricity bill, there's something wrong. I should get Norton 360 for absolutely free. I pay for this product. And they've installed mining software. They have utterly lost their minds. And I run Norton on Macs too. You guys know my stance. I run Malwarebytes and Norton on every computer I have. It's saved me multiple times, even on Macs. Those of you that don't run Macs without any antivirus software, good luck. Good luck to you. It's amazing to me. So, obviously, my Macs don't come with NVIDIA chips. So maybe that's the reason why. But I've got a computer sitting right here that has an NVIDIA chip that's a Windows machine. And I bet it's enabled in there. Matter of fact, it's kind of funny. I heard this machine racing today. And I rebooted it and it stopped. So I'm going to go digging around and make sure something hasn't been turned on. This is insane. Why would they do this? It's really crazy. And, I was uneasy when they bought LifeLock. And matter of fact, they raised the price on LifeLock. I use LifeLock to protect my identity, because I live online, right? So I count on that to track and make sure that stuff isn't happening with bank accounts and credit cards and, whenever a password shows up on the dark web or something to that effect. And now they're going to do crypto. It's really, I don't know how we missed this before. I really don't. Did you know? I didn't. Google has accused Apple of exploiting peer pressure and bullying. Now, listen to this. Listen to this again. It's on Business Insider. Google has accused Apple of exploiting peer pressure and bullying for profit with its blue and green iMessage bubbles. Now, you know what happens. If you have an Android device and you text an iPhone, it comes in green. If you message an iPhone user with an iPhone, it comes in blue. So some young people are feeling social pressure to own iPhones because of the way message appears, the Wall Street Journal reports. Messages between iPhones using iMessage appear in blue, but messages sent to iPhones or Androids appear in green. A Google executive accused Apple of using peer pressure and bullying as a way to sell products. So this is one way I've always known. When I get a message from someone, if it comes in blue, I know they're using an iPhone. If it comes in green, I know they're using an Android. But I also have used Android devices, so it's not a big deal here, right? But some young people, they fear being ostracized from the social circles if they gave up their iPhones. And it is a little bit interesting. Google's official Twitter account for Android on Saturday published a statement that said iMessage should not benefit from bullying. Texting should bring us together, and the solution exists. Let's fix this as one industry. In a statement to the Journal, Apple said, "We know that Apple users are having access to innovative features like iCloud syncing across all their Apple devices, tap back and memoji, as well as industry-leading privacy and security with end-to-end encryption, all of which make iMessage unique." Internal Apple email dating back to 2016, released last year during Apple's legal battle with Fortnite maker Epic Games, revealed that the company considered making iMessage available to Android users, but decided against it. In an email to CEO Tim Cook, a marketing exec argued that bringing iMessage to Android phones would remove an incentive for iPhone families giving their kids Android phones. So, is it true? Do you think so? I don't think anything of it if I get a green text because I'm an Android user as well. So, but it is interesting. Moving on here. Tesla, they're gonna be in trouble. They've already pulled this product once. Tesla adds chill and assertive self-driving modes. So the setting will follow other cars more closely, change lanes more frequently, and not leave the overtaking lane and perform rolling stops. Such driver behavior by humans is often discouraged by safety groups. Matter of fact, in the state of Michigan, if you stay in the passing lane continuously or overtaking lane, you can get a ticket in the state of Michigan. However, According to Tesla, it could sometimes be safer for an automated system to be more assertive like a human driver rather than being overly cautious, one motor safety expert said. The three driving profiles, chill, average, and assertive, were first added in Tesla's October update. The update was quickly pulled because of other issues, but the driving profiles feature has now been restored. A screenshot updated was posted by Twitter by David Zipper, a technology writer and visiting fellow at Harvard Kennedy School, and was first reported by The Verge. So, the assertive mode described as your Model X will have a smaller follow distance, perform more frequent speed lane changes, and will not exit passing lanes and may perform rolling stops. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I until the first accident happens in this mode, it's probably going to be on the market. But here's the thing I've also found with my car. And by the way, my car, they're telling me it's going to go into paint either today or tomorrow. It's been repaired, and I may get my car back by Thursday. Total repair bill $3,487 for hitting Bambi on Christmas Eve. And my deductible's $500. So what I notice with my car is, all right, if I'm in the right-hand lane on a highway and I want to, it gets real aggressive and doesn't get too close on basically the radar when it's, because it does leave a significant distance. Even in the most close setting, it leaves a little more distance than I wish it would leave, because people behind me, I can see, get annoyed sometimes in certain situations. But the thing that really annoys me the most is if as a car passes me, if I get right on it and move into that lane immediately, my car will speed up, especially if this cruise is set to a higher number. But then all of a sudden, within about 2 seconds of getting into that lane, it realizes that the car in front of me is too close and will brake. Well, sometimes when you are getting in a lane, you don't want it to brake because maybe you're bouncing between two vehicles. So I always have my foot on the gas when I come out of a lane and moving into a passing lane, especially when I'm merging with traffic, because the car has a mind of its own, and if I let it have its own way, it will brake, and the guy behind me will be pissed, and it's dangerous. The car just doesn't seem to know how to merge well in that situation. Now, someone will say, well, Todd, wait. Well, sometimes if the traffic's heavy, you know how it is. You got to get out, right? And you got to get moving. So as long as I keep my foot on the gas, I'm okay, and overriding the auto sensing part of the vehicle. And I guess that's the way it should be. But it's just one of those things where you learn. So if this assertive self-driving mode makes it more aggressive, I can see where that needs in a short period of time. But over the long haul, I think they're going to run into trouble here. The president signed the Biden administration agreed to continue operating of the International Space Station to 2030. Federal law, last updated in 2015, authorized operation of the station through at least 2024. The announcement, while not unexpected, still requires other ISS partners to agree to continue operations of the station after 2024. Joseph Oppbacher, Director General of the European Space Agency, tweeted on December 1st that he welcomed the decision to submit a formal proposal to the ESA member states for their agency to continue until 2030 as well. Officials with two other ISS partners said NASA's announcement would set in motion efforts in their countries to formally decide to continue participation on the station. They say, we're very happy to see the announcement from the U.S. side that's helping the decision process. He said, just like Canada was waiting for U.S. to formally support an ISS extension, we were starting to consider endorsing it. No one would have expected Canada to make a decision before the U.S. or even ESA or even Roscosmos. An official from the Japanese Space Agency offered a similar assessment. We're seeking We were seeking the trigger by NASA to extend ISS beyond 2024. With that trigger, we've started discussion for the extension. And the biggest issue remains, will Russia continue to participate? Dmitry Rogozin, head of Roscosmos, had previously suggested Russia was not interested in remaining on the ISS through the end of the decade because of the growing maintenance costs, as well as Russia's still nascent plans to develop its own space station, even though Russia added 2 modules to its segment ISS last year. So, of course, the government said they would only accept an extension in 2030 if the U.S. dropped sanction against 2 Russian companies. So we'll see. Let's just deorbit the Russian segments. Leave the rest of it running. I don't know if that's possible, but, who knows? Now, this next story, I think you all should figure this out yourself, especially if you live somewhere where it's cold like it is now. It's like 11 here tonight. And MakeUseOf.com, MakeUseOf.com has an article about the hidden dangers of smartphone car vent mounts. If you're running hot air through that vent and blowing it on your phone, you really risk damaging your phone. You need to shut the air off to that vent if you're going to use it, if you can. If not, you need to be real careful running the heater and blowing on that phone when it will heat it up. It could cause buttons to break. It's really an issue. And then, because your smartphone's going to be blasted directly with hot air, causing your phone to overheat. And overheating can cause damage to your smartphone's internal circuits, and most likely the battery. And excessive heat exposure causes it to lose capacity. Other common problems include touch screens no longer working, broken speakers, and even broken buttons. So just be aware out there if you're using one of those, okay? Well, smart glasses are back. They're getting ready for an iPad moment in 2022. Of course, Apple's rumored device is a pair of smart glasses, a VR headset. Competitors are terrified it will be the next iPad, but many products shown off at CES were about feature tech like cars that change color. Yeah, the BMW. Robot butlers or invisible headphones, but the rumors that Apple may announce its own take on augmented real or virtual reality devices sometime this year. Companies already making such products are getting dragged into the present. Chinese team maker TCL, for example, announced at CES its Ray-Ban style next-wear air glass that overlays computer-generated images in the real world. Sony used CES to make a surprise announcement about its hotly anticipated PlayStation VR 2 headset, which promises to trick your brain into thinking you're inside a computer-generated world. Qualcomm and Microsoft, meanwhile, announced a new partnership, although we're not going to talk about Microsoft because they weren't there. So is VR going to happen in 2022? I am doubtful. I don't think it's going to make that much of a leap. Another article on MakeUseOf.com is one that I have very warm feelings about. What age should you buy your child a smartphone? Well, I say is until you can't stand it no more. I think as much 14, 15, but it's really hard because of peer pressure. And most parents are getting kids a phone between 10 and 12. And I've got rough feelings about that. So here's the number in 2019. 53% of 11-year-olds, 69% of 12, 72% of 13-year-olds, 81% of 14, 83 at 15, 89 at 16, 88 at 17, and 91% at 18. And with COVID and everything else, I bet it's even higher. But, oh, man, please, if restrict as much as you can. Control what apps go on. Do everything you can. It's really, in my opinion, something you should try to hold as long as you can. Hold the line. We all know. We all have smartphones. We all understand the value and the addiction piece of it too. So be aware, okay? There's a great article about the 7 best Motorola phones. I'll have that link up in the show notes. Also, some new features that come to Android in 2022. Fast pair comes to Chromebooks and TV. Nearby sharing comes to Windows. Unlock with Wear OS. Improved phone hub integration. Enhanced digital car key experience. Automatic device switching for headphones. Chromecast support coming to Bose speakers. And ability to get more information out of your vehicle. All from Android in how come this doesn't say, okay, in 2022. Yep. CISA director said we'll be dealing with the Log4j vulnerability for a long time. The bug's impact will be massive. And matter of fact, it's something that we went through and made sure right off the bat that we were not using Log4j and making sure that anything that we had was patched. We're not using it at all. So, but a lot of people do. And the Log4 shell to be used in intrusion for the future. So just be aware. If you're running your own website, you need to know about Log4j and the corresponding Log4 shell hack that can really ruin your life. Ask Nicely answers how companies can best connect with frontline workers. This is a new company attracting capital for its app targeting shift or frontline workers. They've seen a lot of this type of stuff at CES. A lot of frontline worker apps. The company announced 32 million Series B rounds, so they got some serious money. So they must be making some headway. Bitcoin slipped under $40,000. No, the Earth is not spinning backwards. Don't stress it. The popular cryptocurrency showed off sharply this morning, while rival tokens like ETH also lost value. Current worth is $39,831 per coin. Bitcoin is off 4.3%. Ether is off 5.1%. So we saw a high of $68,789. I hope you sold some then, took some profit. Today's price, but Bitcoin's current drawn down at just over 42%. So big swings there. Tech stocks are off 2% as well, while software stocks are off an even more painful 2.62%. So not the only space to take a little bit of a hit today. I've been following a lot of YouTube channels that talks about the SpaceX's spaceport out in Texas, and they showed off Nextzilla today, the tower that's going to be used to catch their spacecrafts, the Starship. Now, I want to also say that I had an interview at CES that was incredible from a gal that is organizing and working through basically K11, K12 to send basically CubeSats, not even CubeSats, they're small experiments to the International Space Station. That interview, we'll get that up soon. But she informed me that there's 2 spaceports coming to the state of Michigan, one vertical launch and one horizontal that goes up on a jet. So when she promises when she comes to Michigan, she's going to be tag along. So we'll see. But that I'll save that interview for the website. It's really going to be a good one. You guys, if you missed it live, it's probably one of the best interviews I've had in many, many years. So anyway, the Nextzilla article. So if you haven't seen this already, you definitely want to check out the Starship launch and catch tower. Yes, I said catch tower. Razer is basically, I don't like using this word, I guess it's okay. Razer reneges on its claim that Zephyr mask used the N95 grade filter. Razer has removed any mention of its Zephyr and recently announced the Zephyr Pro Smart Face Mask, including N95 grade filters from its website and other marketing materials. The wearable by itself is not a medical device nor certified as an N95 mask. A Razer spokesman told Engadget to avoid any confusion, we're in the process of removing all reference to N95 grade filter from our marketing material. Well, must be they were trying to do a little spin and didn't or could not get the certification. According to an article in The Verge, Europol has been ordered to delete petabytes of data not clearly linked to a crime. The decision from U.S. data regulation watchdog is a win for privacy advocates. Europol, the law enforcement agency of the European Union, has been ordered to delete a huge store of personal data. Over the past 6 years, the deletion order comes from the European Data Protective Supervisor, a watchdog overseeing EU institutions. The total volume of data stored in Europol systems amounts to around 4 petabytes, equivalent to hundreds of billions of pages of printed text, includes data on at least 250,000 current or former terror and serious crime suspects, along with other people in its contact networks. I bet you they make a backup first. Let me read here. It's unclear the precise types of data Europol wanted to hold onto so keenly, but we do know there are large data considered at least a part of data about people. But anyway, that's, I don't know. We'll see if that comes back to bite him in the butt. There's a great article on Tech Dirt talking about Twitter asking a court to reconsider order to unmask an anonymous critic of a billionaire over questionable copyright claims. The Twitter seeking the identity of the person behind the @CallMeMoneybags account that has a history of mocking wealthy private equity bros. The subpoena come from an operation called Bayside Advisory, which are the copyrights for a few images that Moneybags had posted to the Twitter account. All typical social media photos. But anyway, it's just basically a bait to get this person's name. And turns out that the court says you got to give it up. But Twitter is basically asking the court to reconsider because they think that they're just doing a fishing expedition here. So it's a good read. If you ever set up one of those accounts, make sure you anonymize it the best of your ability. SEC charges decentralized Amazon Web Service competitor with scamming investors. Crowd Machines creator allegedly blew ICO investors' money on gold mines. Wow. This gentleman out of Australia, Craig Sproley, the CEO of cryptocurrency startup Crowd Machine, which promised a global cloud computing network built on users' computers. In reality, Sproley allegedly sent $5.8 million to South African gold mines as investors. Cryptocurrency tokens become worthless. So, in the SEC's complaint, says that Sproley collected at least $33 million through an initial coin offering to build a decentralized crowd computer platform, which he claimed was battle-tested by Fortune 500 companies. He compared the service to AWS and Microsoft Azure and said Crowd Machine compute tokens could be worth between $10 and $600 a piece, but the company said he made false and misleading statements and that his platform was never built as advertised. Instead, Crowd Machine hosted its system on centralized servers. So they're going after this guy. Crowd Machine ran into trouble several months after it began raising money. It reported that hackers had stolen a large number of CMCTs, halting trading and sending the price of the coin tumbling. 2 men were later arrested for the hack. Ultimately, the secondary market for CMCTs all but disappeared. But he still sent a whole bunch of money. Following the complaint, Sproley agreed to terms set by SEC. The agreement doesn't require him to admit wrongdoing, but it permanently bars him from offering securities, including cryptocurrency asset. He must pay a civil penalty of $195,000 US, and agree to permanently disable any CMCTs that he owns. So I guess they've already come to conclusion on his case. Internet service providers must accept government subsidy on all plans. No more upselling, the FCC chair says. The FCC chair seeks stricter rules after ISPs used previous subsidies to upsell users. So this is good. Less than a year after Verizon and other ISPs forced users to switch plans in order to get government-funded discounts, a new federal program will prevent such upselling by requiring ISPs to let customers obtain subsidies on any internet plan. With last year's $50 per month emergency broadband benefit that was created by Congress, the Federal Communications Commission, the ISPs participate in the program as long as they offer the discount on at least one service plan. And then they really kind of played the game here. ISPs urge FCC to exclude legacy plans. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to have to vote on this, I guess. Spotify is still working on hi-fi streaming, but won't say when it's coming. Is that like ultra-alphonic audio? Computer monitors were inventive and interesting at CES. I did not see any, but I'm looking at a few, and they do look pretty cool. Double stack. A double stack computer in one with no space in between. I need that monitor. So Samsung debuted Odyssey Arc, a 55-inch curved 4K gaming monitor. What else? There was, of course, a lot of gaming monitors. There was a lot of television monitors. I like the dual stack non-curved. I'd like to see that. So anyway, you want to learn about? Oh, there it is. There's the one I'm looking at. Who's that one by? LG's dual up monitor. A 16 by 18 aspect ratio, which is a rarity in the industry. Wow. How much is that bad boy going to cost? Because that would be a good replacement for that one right behind me. It's going to be 2560 by 2880. Oh, it's not two monitors. It's one. I'd like to have one that would be two inputs in one with no space in between. I'm going to have to investigate. But anyway, link will be up in the show notes for all these different monitors that the folks at The Verge thought were wildly inventive. Apple reveals big numbers on its expansion to services. Apple Fitness Plus, TV Plus, Wallet, Arcade, and other services continue to grow in 2021. Apple now has over 745 million paid subscription in use across more than 1 billion devices, according to a press release. That's big, big, big numbers. Hard to believe it's that high. Really is. James said, will there be a beard update in this episode? I'd like to know if it's a permanent fixture now, but it sure is easier, isn't it? James, the beard is, for now, it's going to be okay, probably to summer. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see until I get tired of maintaining it, because it's a pain to maintain. It's much easier to shave, to be honest with you. Moving on here, Apple appears to discontinue Beats Pill Plus speaker. The Bluetooth speakers disappeared from both the Apple Store and the Beats website. So they didn't respond to questions from the folks at CNET. The Beats Pill Plus was available on Beats Webs for $180, but it is now gone. Probably a replacement is coming. Samsung displays a new QD OLED panel, can hit 1,000 nits brightness for improved HDR. So I don't know if this is the monitor that only a few people got to see, but there was one monitor that only 4 folks at the show got to see. And maybe this is not it, but maybe it is. But key specs for the Samsung display's new QD OLED. South Korea displays announced, according to SGS, the new panel is capable of a brightness of 1,000 nits and can display over 90% of the BT dot 2020 color space, whatever that means, which both represent substantial improvements over current OLED TVs. So, anyway, if you're into such things and very expensive monitors or television sets, link is in the show notes. NASA's Perseverance Mars rover is a crud obstructing its rock sample system. They've got a stone in the works. So, yep, they got a pebble, a Mars rock, obstructing the bit carousel is what they're calling it. They say they have a plan for this. They figured this was going to happen at some point. So I don't know how big that opening is, to be honest with you. But, yeah, they've dropped a rock, or a rock was not supposed to be. So we'll see what it is. But what's kind of funny here is I can see the serial number of this brace. It's serial number 016. Oh, it's funny. Someday some alien's going to tear this thing apart and say, what is SN016 on this image or on this on this machine? Oh, they'll spend a lot of alien dollars trying to figure that out. A company called Arrive, ARIVE, raises $20 million for instant delivery service beyond groceries and essentials. So they want people to be able to buy stuff like toilet paper and Tylenol and, bottles, different types of stuff and have it delivered. So area delivery for everything. Samsung looks to hold its Galaxy Unpacked 2022 event on February 8th, where we get to see all the new phones, including the Galaxy S22. So I had a surprise. Normally the Samsung booth at CES is you get there, they see your media, they reroute you someplace, they put a handler on you. Well, everyone else is in there with their cameras. They don't want you being led around by yourself. But this year there was a big long line queue to get into Samsung. Kirk and I walked up to it, and I said, "Oh boy, here we go." And the lady saw our media badge. She says, "Oh, sir, come over here. We have a special access place for you." And I was like, "All right, I'm getting corralled." She opened up the thing, and in the booth we went, and voila. Nobody, no handlers, no nothing. We had free access to Samsung booth for the first time in many years. I will say this about CES. The game has changed again. For a while, and you guys know I complained about the PR people being so tightly holding their clients and giving business cards that were their business cards and not the client's business cards. It's this love-hate relationship. Well, it's changed now. Because there were so few media people there, we pretty much got access to what we wanted. It was pretty remarkable. It really, really was. And no holding back. And matter of fact, I'm not going to allude completely to what has transpired, but there was companies there from there were country delegations there. Japan, Israel, South Korea, Switzerland, Germany, France. They all had their own pavilion areas. And we did some interviews with one of the countries, and they basically, we had a conversation. Well, one of our team members had a conversation, and it appears that they're a little tired of the PR people too, and want direct access to people like me that create content like I do for the blog or our live stuff, and some opportunities may be opening up, which is it's kind of cool. I'm not going to go into too many details because I don't want to get the cart before the horse here, but I could potentially lead to some fun things this year. Parrot, P-A-R-R-O-T, a tool for digitizing Mexico restaurants, rose $9.5 million in venture. And it's basically food tech solutions for Latin America and the United States. And so while they've had a lot of success and already doing stuff here in the United States, are moving to the Latin market. It's parrotsoftware.io. Also ran into a lot of companies that are using the .ai domain name as well. Thought that was interesting. All right, hey, are you ready to dump Gmail? Not a chance. But here's a step-by-step guide on how to delete your Gmail account. Link will be up in the show notes for you to check that out. If you're ready to bail Gmail, I don't know why you would. Maybe some will. Elon Musk also says he's hiking full-service driving by another $2,000. In 2019, the option cost $6,000. On January 17th, it becomes $12,000 for full self-driving. They're not going to be able to do this for a long time because they have a limited time to corner that. And then at some point, the price will have to come back down. Price increase has been a fairly constant theme with driver assistance systems. In the wake of Uber's well-publicized IPO in 2019, Tesla got ride-hailing fever, with Musk claiming a self-driving Tesla could earn $30,000 a year in income working the streets while its owners asleep or at work. Really? You're going to let your car self-drive around picking people up? I don't know about that. He says, if you buy a Tesla today, I believe you're buying an appreciating asset, not a depreciating asset, at least for the first 12 years until you have to replace the battery, which costs $30,000. So that's an interesting move here. But it isn't self-driving yet. It isn't where you can send the car off on its own. We are many years away from that. I don't believe you'll be able to send your car on a task by itself for at least another 10 years. I think we're 6-7 years away from being able to go completely hands-free, but still be in the vehicle. I don't know if that's an appreciating asset right now. Yes, Chris said there was a large Turkish presence as well. Apple Watch Series 8 may not have a body temperature sensor after all. That's the rumors out there. But I did see at CES a whole slew of glucose reading devices that are about ready to hit the market. This has been close. Someone's going to make a mint when they finally get this thing nailed in. I'll take a device that's not FDA certified. I will at this point. They're that close. But at some point, someone's going to crack that nut and really knock it out of the ballpark and make it affordable, not something that's $1,300 or $1,400 a year or more to support glucose reading. Panasonic says hackers access personal data of job candidates. So this hack that they had, which was confirmed back in November, they weren't able to say what the hackers had access, but it turns out it was personnel data of job candidates, not necessarily internal company employee data information. 23andMe gets FDA clearance for prostate cancer risk test. It's the third cancer risk test for the company. So it's cleared, this test, and the test screens for a specific mutation of the HOXB13 gene. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not a big fan of 23andMe from a privacy standpoint, but this might be a good one to do. What does it cost? Now, the company's test for genetic variants linked to hereditary colorectal cancer was cleared in 2019. And that type of cancer only accounts for 5% of cancers, of colorectal cancers. So it just tells you you might be at risk. So well, good doing them, but I'm not a big 23andMe fan. Let's see here. That one's already done. Oh, GM finally agrees California can set vehicle emission rules as it preps to scale EVs. Isn't that funny? What appears to be a political and economic savvy move by General Motors, the automaker said Sunday it recognized California's authority under the Clean Air Act to set its own vehicle emission standards. GM previously backed the Trump administration efforts to bar the state from enforcing its own rules for new vehicles, a position reversed soon after President Biden was elected. GM's recognition of California's much stricter carbon emission standards, which other states can adopt, mean the state will consider the company for fleet vehicle purchases. Other companies in the list include BMW, Ford, Honda, Tesla, Volkswagen, and Volvo. So that's where we're at. And we're in an ever-changing political world when it comes to electric vehicle emissions. All right, so let me go down here. And we did have some email that came in and had been holding off on here because the show has been off. He said, hey, Todd, it's Rob from Ontario. Starlink in U.S. in trouble with China. Near misses with Starlink satellites. China is complaining to the UN about near misses with Starlink satellites. China says that they had to maneuver their space station twice to avoid Starlink satellites. Well, maybe China should not be blowing up their own satellites. It's like the kettle calling the kettle black, right? Also, Rob says, now they're saying at least 10 years of life for the Webb telescope. Here's hoping maybe by then Elon can something to nudge it. NASA says Webb's excessive flu likely to extend its lifetime expectations. Well, we got to figure out a way to go to refuel that thing, which I don't know if is even possible. Also, just a thought. China's complaining Elon has too many satellites. Here's a theory. Is China afraid that citizens will be able to hack into a satellite feed and see what's really happening in the world? Well, what I would think is that some people in China might be getting rogue Starlink systems. Now, what do you think a black market Starlink system would sell for in China? Just think about that for a second. Completely bypass the Chinese firewall? Yeah, interesting, huh? Now, with his laser-controlled or laser cross-communication satellites up there, he doesn't necessarily need ground stations in China. They could offload that data across 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 different satellites. Yeah, I just wonder. A good question there, Rob. Chris says, going back to the Tesla's doing chores on its own, he says, this is exactly how you end up with your car being used as a drug mule or worse. Well, that's interesting, isn't it, Chris? And by the way, that's Christopher Jordan. He hauled in all our gear that we used at CES, and I will say he is a master packer. He packs his Pelican case 100% tighter than I ever would. I don't know how he gets gear home without being broke, but I was quite amazed by his packing skills as we were packing up Friday afternoon and doing the bag drag, which just about all of us had a stroke getting everything out to the car. Okay, going to bring me to the end of the show tonight. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Again, watch my walkthrough videos on YouTube from CES last week. We'll start getting some of this content out from our interviews as the masters start being distributed to the team. But and I've just got a select few that I'm going to post that I thought were really excellent. But I'll be back with you here on Thursday for another edition of the show. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks very much for being part of the family. Those of you that are insiders, thank you so much for your continued contributions to the show. If you want to become an insider, you too can to put your PayPal account where your mouth is, $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, or $25 a month, or one-time donations are welcome at geeknewscentral.com/insider. If you want to think about coming to CES 2023 with me, geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com is the email address to send me a note. Say, Todd, I'm interested in coming to the show. Can't be afraid of COVID, because who knows what situation we're going to be in for a year. And I do have some specific requirements as well. I'll share that with those that come. It is a volunteer thing. I don't pay people for their time to come. So just so you know that. All right. Let's get out of here, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the family again. We'll see you back here on Thursday, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.